The quiet of the night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station was broken by a steady beeping from Monitor 3. Jack Thompson, the lead technician, lifted his coffee mug to his lips only to find it empty. The beeping continued, growing more insistent with each passing second. "Hey, come look at this," Jack called out to his supervisor, Captain James Miller, who was reviewing reports at the nearby desk. The captain's chair squeaked as he stood up and walked over, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the monitors. The reading was unlike anything they had seen before. Massive energy signatures were appearing at the edge of their solar system, far beyond Pluto's orbit. At first, they thought it might be a malfunction. Their equipment had never detected anything of this magnitude. "Run a diagnostic," Captain Miller ordered, his voice calm but his eyes fixed intently on the screen. Jack's fingers flew across the keyboard, but before he could complete the diagnostic, similar reports started flooding in from stations across the globe. Within minutes, the Global Defense Initiative's emergency protocol was activated. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to most of the world's population, military leaders and scientists gathered in a room that hadn't seen this level of activity since its construction. Captain Miller found himself transferred there by hypersonic transport within the hour. The room was filled with the world's top minds, all staring at a holographic display showing the approaching energy signatures. Dr. Linda West, the chief astronomer, was explaining what they were seeing. "These aren't natural phenomena," she said, pointing to the organized pattern of the signals. "They're ships, thousands of them, arranged in a formation that suggests intelligent design and military precision." The room fell silent as General Mark Anderson, commander of Earth's United Space Command, stepped forward. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to make history. This is humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, and they're coming in with what appears to be a fleet large enough to blockade a planet." Hours pass as they track the fleet's movement. The ships were moving at speeds that defy their understanding of physics, crossing the vast distances of space as if they were merely sailing across an ocean. When they passed Jupiter, the detailed scans revealed their true scale. Each ship was the size of a small city. "They're scanning us," announced Jack, who had been monitoring Earth's detection systems. "Their scans are passing through our atmosphere, mapping our cities, our military bases, our technological infrastructure." Captain Miller watched the data stream across his screen. The aliens were thorough, but they were only seeing what Earth wanted them to see. For decades, humanity had maintained a careful facade, presenting itself as less advanced than it truly was. The real centers of power, the true extent of human technological achievement, lay hidden beneath mountains, beneath oceans, and in facilities shielded from any known form of detection. The first transmission arrived exactly when the fleet reached Mars orbit. The holographic display flickered, and a figure appeared, humanoid but clearly alien, with features that seemed almost artificially perfect. It spoke in a voice that had been precisely translated into English. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Marcus of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been identified as suitable for integration into our dominion. We have observed your civilization and determined that resistance would be futile. We offer you the opportunity to join our empire peacefully, to benefit from our advanced civilization and protection." Captain Miller exchanged glances with General Anderson. The alien commander's tone was diplomatic, but the threat was clear. They had come expecting to find a primitive civilization, one that would be easily awed by their display of power. The general's lip curled slightly as he murmured, "They have no idea what they're walking into, do they?" Miller shook his head, thinking of the quantum arrays hidden beneath the Antarctic ice, the antimatter facilities in the Mariana Trench, and the gravity manipulation engines concealed within hollow mountains. Earth had been preparing for this moment for generations, hidden from prying eyes that might one day come from the stars. The High Commander's message concluded with what he clearly thought was a generous offer. "You have 48 Earth hours to accept our terms. Choose wisely." Little did they know, Earth was about to give them their first and only warning. Admiral Thomas Walker stood before the United Nations Security Council, his uniform crisp despite the 18 sleepless hours since the alien fleet's arrival. The room was tense, filled with world leaders who had arrived through secret tunnels beneath New York City. "The Empire's ships have taken position around Mars," he reported, gesturing to the holographic display. "Their technology is impressive, but not unexpected. Our deep space telescopes have been studying similar ships near distant stars for years." The Chinese president leaned forward. "And their weapons?" "Standard energy-based systems," Admiral Walker replied, bringing up detailed scans. "Plasma cannons, particle beams, nothing we haven't prepared for." He didn't mention the quantum shields that could render such weapons useless. Not yet. The meeting was interrupted by a soft chime. High Commander Marcus's image appeared again, this time simultaneously in every major government facility worldwide. The aliens' perfect features showed what might have been amusement. "Your leadership seems to be in quite a debate," he said, demonstrating that their surveillance was indeed penetrating Earth's apparent defenses. "Let me simplify your choice. The Empire has conquered thousands of worlds. Some chose to resist. Their ruins serve as monuments to their foolishness. Others chose wisdom, and now their peoples thrive under our protection." Admiral Walker watched the alien speech with practiced calm. Behind him, technicians were tracking the Empire's scan attempts, letting just enough information leak to maintain their illusion of vulnerability. "We have detected your primitive nuclear weapons," Marcus continued. "Impressive for your development stage, but hardly a concern for our shields. Your spacecraft are limited to your own solar system. Your cities are unprotected from orbital bombardment. Surely you see the futility of resistance." The Russian president stood up, her face red with carefully staged anger. "You dare threaten Earth? We have fought among ourselves for centuries. We are not afraid of war." This was part of the plan. Let them think Earth's leadership was divided, emotional, and prone to rash decisions. The Empire's intelligence services would be analyzing every word, every reaction. Marcus's image smiled indulgently. "Brave words, but courage alone cannot stop our fleet. We have studied your internet, your broadcasts, your military communications. We know the limits of your technology." Walker suppressed a smile. The internet had been carefully curated for decades, subtly altered to present an image of humanity that was advanced enough to be useful, but not advanced enough to be threatening. The real network, the quantum encrypted one that connected humanity's true military and scientific installations, remained invisible. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order," Marcus announced. One of their smaller ships broke formation, approaching Earth. It fired a precise energy beam at an uninhabited island in the Pacific. The island vanished, leaving only steam and scattered debris. The world leaders put on a good show of shock and fear. The American president even knocked over his water glass in apparent distress. Walker had to admit they were all playing their parts perfectly. "That was one ship at minimal power," Marcus said. "Our fleet carries enough firepower to reduce your entire civilization to ash. But we are not barbarians. We offer civilization, advancement, protection. Your people would be citizens of the Empire, free to rise through our ranks based on merit." Walker checked his watch. 26 hours remained until their deadline. Right on schedule, the British Prime Minister spoke up, her voice trembling slightly. We request time to discuss your generous offer. Surely you understand this is a monumental decision for our people." Marcus nodded magnanimously. "Of course. We are patient. Use your remaining time wisely. I look forward to welcoming Earth into the Empire." The transmission ended. For a moment, the room remained silent. Then the Japanese Prime Minister allowed himself a small smile. "They believe their deception is working perfectly," he said quietly. "They think they're dealing with frightened children." Walker nodded, checking the latest reports from the quantum defense grid hidden throughout the solar system. Everything was in position. Let them think that for a little longer, he replied. "The more confident they are, the more impact our warning will have." The UN Secretary General stood up, her expression serious. Very understand just how badly they had underestimated their intended conquest. Deep beneath the Alps, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Anna Reeves stood before a wall of quantum displays. Each screen showed a different aspect of Earth's true defensive capabilities. The room hummed with power from fusion reactors that the Empire's scans couldn't detect. "Status report," she commanded, her voice echoing in the vast underground chamber. Engineers and scientists moved with practiced efficiency, checking systems that had been prepared for this moment for decades. "Quantum shields are at full capacity," reported Mike, her chief engineer. "The Empire's scans are still bouncing off our dummy readings. They have no idea these facilities exist." Anna nodded, watching as another screen showed the Empire's fleet continuing their show of force. They had destroyed 3 more uninhabited islands in the past hour, clearly hoping to intimidate Earth's leadership with their power. "They're like children playing with matches," she muttered, thinking they've discovered fire while standing in a room full of fusion reactors. The facility's main door slid open with a soft hiss. Admiral Walker entered, accompanied by the heads of Earth's major defense programs. They had just finished their staged performance for the Empire's benefit at the UN. "Dr. Reed," Walker called out, "is everything ready for Phase 2? Anna turned to face them, gesturing at the central display. "See for yourself, Admiral. While they've been putting on their light show up there, we've moved everything into position." The display showed a 3-dimensional map of the solar system. Scattered throughout space, invisible to the Empire's sensors, were thousands of quantum-linked defensive platforms. Each one contained technology that humanity had kept hidden from the stars, waiting for precisely this moment. "The gravity manipulation system is online," Anna continued, bringing up another display. "We can redirect any energy weapon they fire. The quantum entanglement field is ready to disrupt their communications, and the antimatter containment systems." She paused, allowing herself a small smile. "Well, let's hope we never need those." One of the other scientists, Dr. Tom Wilson, spoke up from his station. "We're detecting increased scan attempts from the Empire's ships. They're trying to probe deeper into our military installations." "Let them see what we want them to see," Admiral Walker ordered. "Keep feeding them the dummy data about our nuclear missiles and conventional forces." Anna walked to another console, entering a series of commands. Above them, a holographic display showed Earth's true defensive network. It was beautiful in its complexity. A web of quantum-linked satellites, hidden bases, and automated defense systems that could be activated in seconds. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a readout. "Their ships use a form of faster-than-light travel that manipulates space-time. Advanced, yes, but we mastered similar technology years ago. We just chose not to advertise it." The room fell silent as new data streamed in. The Empire was launching another demonstration, this time targeting an abandoned military base in the desert. They had carefully staged it to look like a crucial installation. "Their targeting systems are good," Tom noted, watching the energy beam strike exactly where intended. "But our quantum shields could deflect that blast without breaking a sweat." Admiral Walker checked his watch. 18 hours until their deadline. "Dr. Reed, begin powering up the demonstration systems. It's time to show them just enough to make them think twice." Anna nodded, her fingers dancing across the control panel. Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum generators began to hum to life. Each one was carefully calibrated to reveal just a fraction of Earth's true power, enough to make the Empire reassess their plans without showing their full hand. "You know," she said, watching the power levels rise, "I almost feel sorry for them. They came here expecting to find a primitive civilization cowering before their mighty fleet." She gestured at the room full of technology that surpassed anything the Empire had shown. "Instead, they're about to learn that they've been playing chess while thinking their opponent was still learning to count." Admiral Walker smiled grimly. "That's the idea, Doctor. Sometimes the best way to prevent a war is to make your opponent realize they never had a chance of winning one in the first place. Above them, hidden in plain sight, Earth's quantum network continued its silent vigil, waiting for the order to demonstrate just how badly the Empire had misunderstood their intended conquest. High Commander Marcus stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath him. The deadline was approaching, and he expected the primitive planet's surrender at any moment. His crew worked quietly at their stations, monitoring the planet's pitiful attempts at defense preparations. "Sir," called out his sensor officer, "we're detecting some unusual energy readings from the planet's dark side." Marcus waved his hand dismissively. "Probably just their nuclear reactors running at full capacity. These primitives think their nuclear weapons might." The officer's console suddenly went dark, then another, and another. Within seconds, every screen on the bridge flickered and died. Marcus felt a momentary sensation of weightlessness as his ship's artificial gravity wavered. "Report," he barked, but his crew seemed just as confused as he was. Their most advanced sensors, capable of detecting a single flashlight from light years away, had gone completely blind. Down on Earth, in the Alpine facility, Dr. Anna Reed watched the Empire's fleet through their quantum imaging system. "Phase 1 of the demonstration is active," she announced. "Their sensors are experiencing a complete blackout." Admiral Walker nodded. "Proceed with Phase 2. Anna's fingers moved across her console with practiced precision. Throughout the solar system, carefully hidden quantum platforms activated. A web of invisible energy began to form around the Empire's fleet. On the flagship's bridge, Marcus was still barking orders when his gravity returned and the screens flickered back to life. But something was wrong. His fleet's formation had changed. "Impossible," he whispered. Every ship in his fleet had been moved, arranged in a perfect geometric pattern. Thousands of warships, each weighing millions of tons, had been repositioned without anyone feeling a thing. "Sir," his communication officer called out, voice shaking, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth." Text only. The message appeared on the main screen, simple and direct. "Consider this a demonstration of basic planetary defense capabilities. We desire peace, but we are prepared for alternatives. You have 1 hour to withdraw to Neptune's orbit for negotiations." Marcus laughed, though it sounded hollow even to his own ears. "They think moving a few ships will frighten us. Launch fighters. Show them what real power looks like." The launch bays opened, releasing squadrons of the Empire's most advanced fighter craft. They streaked toward Earth, weapons charged, and vanished, simply ceased to exist between one moment and the next. In the Alpine facility, Anna allowed herself a small smile. Quantum displacement successful. The fighters have been safely relocated to holding pattern around Pluto. Marcus watched in growing horror as his sensors finally detected his missing fighters, now billions of kilometers away. His crew stared at their screens in silence. "Sir," his tactical officer spoke quietly, "we're detecting energy readings throughout the solar system. They were hidden before, but now." The officer's voice trailed off as the data appeared on the main screen. Thousands of platforms, each radiating more power than an Empire battleship, had appeared from nowhere. They had been there all along, invisible to the Empire's best detection systems. Admiral Walker stood in the Alpine facility's command center, watching the Empire's reactions through their quantum sensors. "Send the second message," he ordered. Marcus read the new text with growing unease. "This demonstration used less than 1% of Earth's defensive capabilities. We have shown restraint. Do not make us show more." For the first time in his 300 years of service to the Empire, Marcus felt real fear. They had arrived expecting to find primitive savages playing with basic technology. Instead, they had stumbled into the territory of something far more dangerous, a civilization that had grown powerful in secret, waiting for the day the stars would come to them. "All ships," he commanded, his voice hoarse, "withdraw to Neptune's orbit. Immediately." As the Empire's fleet retreated, Anna turned to Admiral Walker. "They're leaving faster than they arrived," she observed. "Should we disable their faster-than-light drives, just to make sure they behave?" Walker shook his head. "No need. They've seen enough to understand. Sometimes, the most powerful weapon is the enemy's imagination. Let them wonder what else we're capable of." Above Earth, the Empire's mighty fleet fled from a planet that had just revealed itself to be far more than it appeared. They had come looking for an easy conquest and found instead a sleeping giant, one that had just opened one eye and suggested they leave before it had to open both. Near Neptune's orbit, High Commander Marcus paced in his private quarters. The massive holographic displays showed endless streams of data from their encounter with Earth. Nothing made sense. His science officers had been analyzing the readings for hours, and each new discovery made him feel worse. "Play it again," he ordered. The recording showed their fleet's instant reorganization. No known technology could move ships of that size without generating enormous energy signatures. Yet Earth had done it without their sensors detecting anything until it was over. His door chimed. "Enter." Chief Science Officer Allen walked in, looking pale. In his 3 centuries serving the Empire, Marcus had never seen the brilliant scientist so shaken. "High Commander, you need to see this," Allen said, placing a data crystal into the room's main projector. New holographs filled the air. "These are deep scan results from the moments before our fighters vanished," Allen explained. "We detected quantum fluctuations unlike anything in Imperial records. The level of scientific advancement required for such technology." He paused, swallowing hard. "Sir, they're not primitives. They're far beyond us in several key areas." On Earth, Dr. Anna Reed and Admiral Walker watched the Empire's fleet through their quantum imaging systems. The enemy ships hung motionless near Neptune, running scan after scan, trying to understand what they had witnessed. "They're focusing on the quantum displacement field," Anna noted, studying the readings. "Should we give them another demonstration?" Walker shook his head. "No need. Let them stew in uncertainty. Sometimes fear of the unknown is more effective than any display of force." Back on the flagship, Marcus received another disturbing report. Their best stealth probes, sent to secretly scan Earth's surface, had vanished without a trace. More worrying was how they vanished. Each probe disappeared at exactly the same distance from Earth, suggesting a defensive perimeter of unimaginable sophistication. "High Commander," Allen continued, his voice barely a whisper, "we've been analyzing their internet, their visible technology, everything we can see. It's all a facade. The primitive satellites, the basic space stations, the nuclear weapons, they're decoys, meant to hide their true capabilities." Marcus sank into his chair. "How long?" he asked. "How long have they been this advanced?" "Based on the complexity of their quantum field technology, decades at least, maybe centuries." Ellen brought up more displays. "They've been watching us, studying us, preparing for this moment. While we thought we were evaluating them for conquest, they were actually testing us," Marcus finished. The realization hit him like a physical blow. Earth hadn't just defeated their initial approach, they had turned the entire encounter into an evaluation of the Empire's capabilities and intentions. In the Alpine facility, Anna's quantum sensors detected a surge of communication between the Empire's ships. "They're putting it all together," she said, watching the data streams. "Their science division just submitted a comprehensive report to their command structure." Walker nodded. "And what's their conclusion?" "That attacking Earth would be..." She checked the translated transmission and smiled. To quote them directly, "an act of suicidal overconfidence." Marcus read the full report 3 times. Each reading revealed new layers of Earth's deception. The primitive nuclear missiles they had dismissed, likely disguised quantum weapons, the simple satellites, probably advanced sensor platforms, even Earth's appearance of division and fear during the initial contact had been carefully orchestrated. "Send a message to Imperial Command," he ordered. "Full encryption. Priority 1." The message was brief. Initial assessment of Earth critically flawed. Planet possesses technology surpassing Imperial standards in multiple fields. Recommend immediate diplomatic revision. Continued hostile approach risks catastrophic consequences. As the message transmitted across the stars, Marcus stared at the distant blue planet. They had arrived expecting to find sheep, and instead discovered lions pretending to be sheep, waiting patiently to see who would be foolish enough to try becoming their shepherd. In the Alpine facility, Earth's leaders watched the Empire's message travel across space. "They're starting to understand," Walker said quietly. "The question is, what will they do with that understanding?" Anna checked her readings one last time. "Whatever they decide, we'll be ready. We've had plenty of time to prepare." The Imperial Council chamber buzzed with nervous energy as 12 of the Empire's highest-ranking officials gathered for an emergency meeting. The massive holographic display in the center showed Earth, looking deceptively peaceful and primitive from a distance. High Commander Marcus stood before them, his report complete. The Council members sat in stunned silence, processing what they had just learned about humanity's true capabilities. "Let me be clear," said Council Leader Drake, his ancient face lined with worry. "You're saying this single planet, which doesn't even have a visible space fleet, managed to neutralize our most advanced scanning systems, move our entire battle fleet at will, and teleport our fighters across billions of kilometers?" "Yes, Council Leader," Marcus replied. "And based on their energy readings, they used minimal power to do it. It was a warning shot, nothing more." General Robert Stone of Earth's military command watched this meeting through their quantum observation systems. Beside him, Admiral Walker and Dr. Reed monitored the Empire's fleet, still holding position near Neptune. "They're discussing our demonstration," Stone noted, listening to the translated Imperial Council debate. "Some of them still think they can overcome us with sheer numbers." In the Council chamber, a younger official named Lord Rex stood up. "This is preposterous. We have conquered thousands of worlds. We have millions of ships. We could darken Earth's skies with our fleet, and they could vanish our entire fleet to the edges of the galaxy before we fired a single shot," Marcus countered. "Numbers mean nothing against their level of technology. They'd been hiding their true capabilities for years, possibly centuries. Everything we saw was just the surface of their power." Dr. Reed's quantum sensors detected a surge of activity from the Empire's fleet. "They're running combat simulations," she reported, "testing different scenarios for an attack on Earth." Stone smiled slightly. "Let them. Each simulation will only prove what we've already shown them. They can't win this fight." In the Council chamber, the Empire's best tactical AI displayed the results of their attack simulations. Every scenario, even with their full military might, ended in defeat. Earth's demonstrated technology simply operated on a level they couldn't counter. "There's something else," Marcus added, his voice grave. "We detected quantum energy signatures throughout their solar system. Their defensive network extends far beyond Earth. They've had decades, maybe centuries, to prepare for this moment. This isn't just a planetary defense. It's a carefully laid trap, waiting for someone exactly like us to spring it." Lord Rex slumped back in his seat. "How did we not know? Our scouts reported a primitive civilization barely reaching their moon." "Because that's what they wanted us to see," Marcus explained. "Their visible technology, their public broadcasts, their apparent divisions, all carefully crafted theater. While we thought we were evaluating them, they were actually testing us." On Earth, Stone received a priority alert. "The Empire's long-range communications are active," he announced. "They're contacting their other fleets." "Calling for reinforcements?" Walker asked. "No," Stone replied, studying the decoded transmissions. "They're warning them to stay away from Earth's solar system." In the Council chamber, the final vote was about to begin. Council Leader Drake stood, his expression solemn. "We face an unprecedented situation. For the first time in Imperial history, we have encountered a civilization that not only matches but exceeds our capabilities in several crucial areas. They have shown both overwhelming power and remarkable restraint. The question before us is simple. How do we proceed? The vote was unanimous. Even Lord Rex, after seeing the simulation results, raised his hand in agreement. High Commander Marcus, Drake announced, you will return to Earth with a new proposal. Not as conquerors, but as equals seeking diplomatic relations. The Empire cannot afford to make an enemy of such a power. Back in Earth's command center, Stone watched the council disperse. Well, he said to Walker and Reed, it seems they can learn after all. They didn't have much choice, Reed replied. We showed them just enough of our capabilities to make them realize how much they haven't seen yet. Sometimes the most powerful weapon is the enemy's imagination. Stone nodded, watching the Empire's fleet prepare for another approach to Earth, this time with very different intentions. The best battles, he said quietly, are the ones you win without fighting. 1 month after the Empire's failed attempt at conquest, the Great Hall of the United Nations headquarters in New York hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from Earth sat on one side of the massive table, while Imperial diplomats sat on the other. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. High Commander Marcus, now serving as the Empire's chief diplomat, couldn't help but see things differently than he had just weeks ago. The simple wooden table they sat at probably contained more sensors than his flagship's bridge. The plain walls likely hid defense systems beyond his comprehension. Even now, Earth was hiding its true nature in plain sight. Let us begin, said Dr. Anna Reed, who had been chosen as Earth's lead negotiator. Her simple blue suit betrayed nothing of her role in developing the technologies that had humbled the Empire. We are prepared to establish diplomatic relations with the Empire, as equals. Marcus nodded, activating a holographic display that showed the known galaxy. The Empire controls most of these systems, he explained. We propose including Earth as a full member world, with all rights and privileges. No, Anna replied simply. The Imperial diplomats shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They weren't used to such direct refusal. Perhaps you misunderstand, Marcus began, but Anna cut him off with a raised hand. We understand perfectly, she said. You're offering to make us part of your empire. We're declining. Instead, we're proposing an alliance between equals, the Empire and Earth as separate but cooperative powers. In the observation room above, Admiral Walker watched with General Stone as the negotiations unfolded. They still don't fully understand, do they? Stone mused. They understand enough, Walker replied. They know we could have destroyed their fleet. Instead, we showed restraint. That counts for something in galactic politics, I imagine. Back in the Great Hall, Marcus was processing Earth's counter-proposal. An alliance? But we have millions of ships, thousands of worlds. And we have technology that surpasses yours in several crucial areas. Anna interrupted gently. We also have something else you need. Proof that there are powers in this galaxy you haven't discovered yet. Powers that might not be as restrained as we are. That hit home. The Empire had grown complacent in its dominance. Earth's revelation had shaken their certainty, made them realize there might be other civilizations out there, hiding their true capabilities just as Earth had done. Your terms? Marcus asked, his voice carefully neutral. Anna activated her own holographic display, showing a proposed treaty. Free exchange of scientific knowledge, with appropriate safeguards. Mutual defense agreements. Open trade. Cultural exchange. But Earth remains independent, and our solar system remains under our exclusive control. The Imperial diplomats huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. Finally, Marcus turned back to the table. The Empire accepts these terms in principle, but we have one question. Why did you hide your true capabilities for so long? Anna smiled. Because we understood something that the Empire had forgotten. True strength doesn't come from conquering others, but from being so well prepared that conquest becomes unnecessary. In the observation room, Stone received a priority alert. The Empire's home fleet is beginning a military exercise, he reported. showing off their numbers, probably trying to save face. Walker checked their quantum sensors. Let them. We've made our point. Sometimes the best way to maintain peace is to make sure everyone knows exactly how costly war would be. Back in the Great Hall, the treaty was taking shape. Earth would join the galactic community not as a conquered world, but as an equal power. The Empire would gain a powerful ally, and humanity would finally step onto the cosmic stage, not as subjects, but as partners. As the meeting concluded, Marcus approached Anna privately. "You know," he said quietly, "when we first arrived, we thought we were doing you a favor by offering membership in the Empire." Anna nodded. "And now? Now I wonder how many other worlds we've underestimated. How many other civilizations might be out there, waiting, watching, preparing, just as you were." "That," Anna replied with a smile, "is exactly the kind of thinking that will make this alliance work." Above Earth, the Empire's diplomatic fleet prepared to depart. But this time, they left not as frustrated conquerors, but as humbled equals, having learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the most powerful civilizations are the ones wise enough to hide their power until it's truly needed.